So you're looking for a great basketball shoe that won't break the bank? Well, I have a list for you. What's up guys, welcome to WearTesters.com official YouTube channel. My name is Evan and today we have a list of the best budget basketball shoes. For this list, we've gone with shoes that retail for at most $100. So we're not talking about more expensive shoes that have gone on sale. We're talking about shoes that are cheap right off the bat. Before we get into the list, I just want to let you know that these shoes are on the more reactive side of things. At this price point, there's not a lot of shoes with really great cushioning. So if you wanted to boost the cushioning systems of any of the shoes on this list, a really good option is to go with Move insoles. If we're talking about adding a little bit more cushioning, my favorite Move insole is the All Day, which will give you a little extra cushioning in the forefoot of the shoe. So if you think that might interest you, or you just want a little bit more information on the insoles, we'll leave a link in the description box below. So starting off our list of the best budget basketball shoes, we have the cheapest shoe on the list, and it's the Nike Precision 6. The Nike Precision 6 retails for just $75, and it's a really solid performance basketball shoe. The shoe's best feature is probably the traction. We have a solid rubber outsole and a pretty durable rubber at that. And the outsole, as you can see, combines herringbone traction and a radial traction pattern. One thing to keep in mind is that in the medial portion of the shoe, when those two traction patterns meet, the traction pattern turns into nubs. Now this works really well, and I've had no issues of them ripping off, but nubs tend to do that, so just keep it in mind. In terms of cushioning, we have a Phylon midsole, which is definitely on the reactive side. You do have some compression and some bounciness, but there's definitely a shoe with a ton of court feel and stability. That keeps you feeling agile on court. The materials on the upper are all synthetic and pretty cheap, but if we're talking about cheap materials from Nike, these are actually pretty nice.
Nobody handles garbage better than we do.
They're soft, they're lightweight, they add a lot of containment to the shoe, they require no break-in time, and they work pretty darn well on court. And if you're going to use these outdoors, they should hold up relatively well. Again, we have that really stable cushioning setup. We have a wide forefoot that's equipped with an outrigger. We have two lace cables in the midfoot and a heel counter in the back. There's also some fuse overlays that are going to give you a little bit extra containment and a little bit extra durability as well. All in all, this is a really decent basketball shoe, especially considering the price.
What a savings.
This shoe could use better containment, and I personally prefer a little bit more cushioning in my hoop shoes, but all in all, this is a really good budget option. Plus, personally, I think aesthetically, these are really nice. Moving to the next shoe on our list, we have the Hardened Stepback 3. Starting off with the traction of the shoe, we have a radial traction pattern that's targeted in several areas. Now, my pair features a solid rubber outsole and a really durable rubber at that, but I've seen other colorways that have both solid and translucent rubber. I've heard that the traction on those colorways also works really well, but since the pair I have has solid rubber, that's what I'm going to be talking about. This traction pattern worked really well both indoors and outdoors. As you can see, it gives really good multi-directional coverage, and this rubber is pretty darn durable, so it should hold up really well outdoors as well. As you can see also, we have some portions of the sole that wrap around the midsole, which give you a little extra coverage, but also cage the cushioning system. In this case, this shoe has full length bounce, and most likely because it's so caged, you do get some feeling of compression in the shoe, but it's definitely more on the reactive side of things. You also get a ton of court feel, and it's a very stable shoe as well. But again, it's not the bounciest iteration of bounce that we've ever seen.
No! Yes!
Moving on to the materials along the upper, we have an 100% synthetic upper. We do have some synthetic leather overlays and some fuse as well to add containment and structure to the shoe. All of these are obviously really cheap materials, but they do help the shoe to feel a little bit more premium in hand. In terms of lockdown, we have some forefoot lace cables, and your foot does sit within the midsole slightly when you put on the shoe. This shoe retails for $100, and it's a pretty solid performance basketball shoe. Moving on to the next shoe on our list, we have a shoe that I really enjoyed, but that has one really big drawback that's fixable, but it is a drawback. And that's the Puma Rider 2. This shoe has really great traction. It comes with a really sturdy solid rubber outsole, and it performed really well indoors and outdoors, which is a little surprising because I didn't know what to expect from this proprietary Puma pattern traction. In terms of cushioning, again, we have another reactive cushioning setup, in this case, full-length Rider foam. It's a similar feeling to what we have in the Hardened Stepback 3.
Really close.
There is some compression, there is some impact protection, but it's definitely a very stable setup that offers a ton of court feel and a ton of reactiveness as well. Now for me, the best thing by far on this shoe are the materials. None of the materials that Puma used on this shoe are premium, but the material selection and the layering make this shoe feel a lot more premium than it really is. We have several different textiles along the upper with several different textures. And we have some synthetic leather overlays that add containment and durability to the shoe. And I just really love the overall design of the shoe. In terms of lockdown, I think they performed really well on court. We have a bunch of different lace cables on the lateral side and medial side of the shoe. Those synthetic leather overlays and the fact that your foot sits within the midsole as you play really adds a ton of lateral containment. We have a nice heel counter as well. And just in general, the containment on the shoe is really nice. Now the worst part of the Puma Rider 2, for me at least, I ordered my pair in my usual size 12, and honestly I probably could have gone with an 11.
Oh my lord, look at that thing.
So big.
My pair did fit a little long. It didn't really affect the performance of the shoe, but there was some definite extra space up front. I would highly suggest trying these on in store, or if you're gonna order online, consider going down half a size. If you get the sizing right, this is a really nice shoe, and I've seen them highly discounted as well. Moving on to the next shoe on our list, we have another Adidas model that's actually pretty similar to the Puma Rider 2, in my opinion at least. We have the Dame Certified. This shoe also offers really great traction that should hold up well outdoors. In this case, we have a solid rubber outsole, which again is very durable. We have that wave bone traction pattern that works really well both indoors and outdoors. And all in all, this is a really beefy setup. And I think if you're looking specifically for good traction for outdoors, this might be one of the best setups out there right now. Also very similar to the Puma Rider 2, we have another foam setup, in this case full length bounce, and the feeling in both shoes is pretty similar. We don't have a ton of impact protection, we have some compression. It's a really stable and reactive setup with a lot of court feel, and it's going to keep you feeling agile on court. Now in terms of cushioning, this might not be the best option for outdoors, but especially if you're playing on a nice parquet floor or maybe a nice squishy PVC surface, these are really good in those conditions.
Oh, that's that good shit!
Again, another similarity that we find with the Puma Rider 2 is the upper construction. Again, we have a fully synthetic upper with some synthetic leather and synthetic nubuck, and then we have several different textiles along the upper as well. All these different materials and their layering give a lot of texture to the shoe and make the shoe feel a lot more premium than it really is. This shoe is a little more lightweight than the Puma Rider 2, if that's important to you, and the containment of the Dame Certified was really great for me, but I have heard some people have problems with heel slippage. In my case, I had zero issues with this, but just so you have all the information on the shoe, I have to mention it. Moving on to the top pick of our list, and my personal favorite budget basketball shoe, and also one of my top performance picks overall, we have the Nike Air Max Impact 4. I know that this shoe isn't everyone's cup of tea, but it packs a ton of performance features at a really reasonable price. This shoe retails for 95 bucks, and I just think it's a really great performance basketball shoe all around. Starting off with the traction, we have a solid rubber outsole and a really tough rubber at that, with a real aggressive full-length herringbone traction pattern. This setup works really well both indoors and outdoors, but I think it's especially great outdoors. It gives you really great multi-directional coverage, and that deeply set herringbone traction should last you a really long time. Moving on to the cushioning, this is probably the best cushioned shoe on the list. We have a Phylon midsole, and it's a really squishy version of Phylon and an Air Max unit in the heel. I would have preferred that the main cushioning system would be in the forefoot of the shoe because it's a little bit more useful, but this does give you a lot of really good protection for heel crashes. If you're a slasher and you finish a lot at the rim, chances are that you're going to get bumped in the air. Now if you do and you land awkwardly on your heel, this thing has you covered.
Am I a hero? I really can't say, but yes.
Now the materials on the upper are budget materials, but they all perform really well. The textile is really soft and conforms well to your foot. It keeps the shoe lightweight and well ventilated. You have some fused overlays for extra durability and containment. And you have the synthetic nubuck on the tongue. In terms of containment, this shoe works really well. The upper is reinforced on the inside to keep your foot on the footbed while you play. We have several portions of the sole that wrap around the forefoot of the shoe. You have them here, here, and here that do a good job of keeping your forefoot contained. Then we have these portions of the midsole that wrap around the heel of the shoe to keep your heel contained. We have a decent heel counter and also a pair of lace cables. In terms of stability, the shoe also works really well because even though that cushioning setup is a little bit more plush than the other shoes on our list, it's still really stable. We have that really wide forefoot with a really nice outrigger, and all the portions of the sole and midsole that wrap around your foot keep you really stable as you play. I think this is a really great performance basketball shoe that just happens to be a budget option. The shoe retails for $95, and I really don't think you can go wrong with the Nike Air Max Impact 4. Well anyway, there you have it. That's our list of the best budget basketball shoes to date, but let us know what you think. Is there any shoe that should have been on this list that isn't? Do Do you think there's an up and coming basketball shoe that will replace one of the ones that we mentioned on our list? Let us know also what other lists would you like to see on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. And until next time guys, be good.